Wow, it was just last
morning.
Friday, 37 years after the legendary Robert Nesta Marley died of cancer. And this morning, no woman, no cry. People have interpreted it to mean separate things.
Definitely.
That if you don't have a woman, don't cry. Or woman, do not cry. What exactly is it?
I mean, it's a song, and it's the lyrics that go with it. Behind it, I mean, you know who Bob Marley was. He was so sensational, and I think because he was intelligent, some of his words, you can't just read an open meaning into it. And so whatever you think it means for you, so be
So
it.
if like your heart is broken, no woman, don't cry. It's okay.
Yeah, I mean, whichever way it goes, the point is don't cry, just be happy. At the end of the day, your problems will be solved.
Of course. Good morning to all of you, Ghana, Africa, and the rest of the world. We're ready, and we're running from now till 9 a.m. My name is Johnny Hughes. I'm not here, and of course, the sweet, lovely doctor. Your Twitter account is interesting.
Yeah,
It's okay.
well,
it's okay. Don't explain. It's fine.
I mean, Sweet is my middle name, so it just
okay.
made sense to put it
In terms
there.
of what? Taste?
No, what do you mean by
right.
taste?
No,
I'm
it's
not
okay.
food,
No,
but
no,
I
no,
mean, I
it's
think
okay. Don't worry.
personality,
okay.
character-wise, I've
All
been
right.
told I'm a nice person. So
Oh,
I just,
okay. All right.
Yeah.
Do you have a nice sleep yesterday?
I did,
You did.
but it wasn't enough. I must be honest. I had pretty much a long day, so I was hoping to extend the sleep, but duty calls, and when the alarm, you know how when your alarm goes, you actually feel like either smashing the phone or just picking it and hiding it somewhere.
Right.
Like, but then I remembered, what if it doesn't go again, and I fail to wake up, and I only wake up to realize it's like 6 a.m.
What do you do?
And, oh my gosh. So I just had
sometimes
to
you
wake
just
up.
want to snooze the alarm so many
Yeah.
times, but you
Just
can't
gets
allow
irritating.
yourself to do. Yesterday I went through town and I realized that the ban on drumming and noise making are taking full effect.
Right.
And I was thinking, okay, so the Traditional Council is without all the legal power and
Able to enforce it.
covering, are able to enforce a certain silence across the capital of Accra. So what is the EPA doing? The EPA has all the power. It has all the regulations. It has all the laws clearly spelled out for it. All the decibels calculated for it by Parliament. So what is preventing the EPA from working? Because, I mean, yesterday, I couldn't see those itinerant record sellers driving through town,
Making
blasting it. I couldn't hear people making noise, tooting their horns.
Yeah.
I couldn't hear people by the roadside doing their jama. I couldn't hear people with their loudspeakers outside their shops blasting. So I was thinking, this is possible. And
It is.
every year, the Traditional Council is able to do it, of course, for 1 month, fraught with all the difficulties. Why can't the EPA do it?
Johnny,
Why?
it's the same question on my mind, because they don't, like you said, there's no actual force or law backing what they do. It's just by chance that the society seems to adapt to it, and we understand that, okay, this is just a period of ban on noise making, and we just sort of tailor to it. So how come the enforcement agency that actually has the power to do so fails to do so? But I'm sure if we ask them, they'll talk about personnel, they'll talk about the fact that Accra is a big place, or Ghana in actual sense, that it's big enough and they can't check on every single spot because we're riddled with many, and clamp down on the noise activities. But even on the regular, I'm looking at the people who obviously blatantly make noise beyond the time that is set for us to be allowed to make noise beyond a certain amount of decibels. You go on Sunday, especially this particular Sunday, I don't know whether it was heralding the noise-making ban, because it seemed like people were blurting making the noise more heard. I mean, I slept around 12 a.m. and I could still hear a particular spot in my area making so much noise. And I thought, hello, isn't there a time frame within which you're supposed to reduce the amount of noise and all that? And I'm sure that EPA workers who live around who could say,
but you see,
we've identified this place and there should
difficulty
be a
then
clamp
is
down.
they're supposed to have a certain, tuning fork or, noise identification machine to be able to tell that, well, you've gone beyond the decibels, because you can't just use your ears. Do they have the equipment? Have they requested for it? And if they have requested and they're not getting, what have they done about it? Have they told anybody about it? Indeed, the EPA's work is not just restricted to noise pollution. In fact, those who burn, they just gather rubbish and start burning. Those who, there's so many things. I mean, go through town. I mean, if you had gone through town a week or two before now, you'd have seen the itinerant preachers as well. Now they're taking over the median.
Right.
And sometimes there are certain reaction that they put out. It tend to present those who call them to order as being satanic or evil.
Yeah.
Okay, they are trying to preach the word of God, and but where your rights end, somebody else's freedom begins. So we must be able to measure. And I think I put the blame squarely on the EPA and the local assemblies for not being able to do this. Look, the GAT Traditional, and I'm saying it again, so to the EPA, the GAT Traditional Council is doing this in just quiet. So it is possible.
It is.
I mean, if the EPA finds it difficult to do, the local authority have been able to show them that, look, this is a template, and you don't need to reinvent the wheel if it's not broken.
Yeah.
So learn from them and implement it. Let's all have a look. When there's noise pollution, people are stressed. You're a doctor, you can explain better. People are stressed. When people are stressed, their capacity to work is reduced. When their capacity to work is reduced, means that productivity comes down. When it comes down, it means that they can't work effectively and they can't pay their taxes. It means that the nation ultimately suffers. Their families will suffer as well. And we are all watching. Children will have insomnia, sleepless nights. They go to school, they can't learn. I mean, if you're a medical doctor, you live in a noisy area, what level of concentration would you have to be able to deal with the patients and treat them? So there's an octopus effect that comes.
I mean, it's been going on for many years, and they seem to talk about it that we're supposed to have the rubbish collectors pick it up and blah, blah, blah. But the truth is, holistically, do we have that system of the sewage collection, you know, our sanitation issue? Because the truth is, if you're not picking rubbish from my house, because you tell me that the road that leads to my house is not motorable, then you leave me with no choice but to literally
why did
burn.
they register you in the first place?
Exactly.
If you know that the road that leads to my house is not motorable, why did you register me and then you bring the rubbish collection bin to my house?
Exactly. And they ask people to do outrageous things such as drag their bins through this unmotorable road to maybe a distance of about 100 kilos. And you know what? I mean, like, it doesn't even make sense. And so you leave the person with no choice but to do the wrong thing, because they also don't want to keep the rubbish in their homes and then have, you know, rodents and cockroaches and all that. So it comes back to forming a good system where everything fits in place, because until then maybe the EPA, even if you come and, you know, punish me for that, I'm looking at what solution are you also offering? Because if you can't give me a good solution, then you don't have any rights to really punish me. And so it goes back as a vicious cycle, back to, you know, okay, I can't punish you because I've not also done my part. And until then, I mean, we'll be running around chasing.
Let's say good morning to the EPA, and this is a wake up call for you. Good morning, the staff and the big bosses at the EPA. We want Ghana to be quiet and peaceful, so we can think, so we can strategize, so we can achieve a lot. And the GAT Traditional Council has proven that it can be done. Asante Council have proven that it can be done. You go to the Eastern region and it can be done. If the traditional authorities are able to enforce a ban on drumming and noise making, you, the EPA, with all the power, with all the legality, you can't do it, then you must rethink. Maybe you have to resign. Good morning to all of you.
Well, they certainly have to rethink. But it's, I mean, we'd like to apologize to our viewers for not being able to bring the news. But at this point, we'll take a break. We'll be back with more here on New Day. Does go nuclear because it says 2 plants in 6 years. Also, VRA generates cheaper power from natural gas. And then finally, Ghana to produce over 1 million tons of cocoa between 2018 and 2019 of next year. Also, Ghanaian Times says horror crashes. 14 die and 11 are hurt in 2 separate accidents. Also, CJ says it's criminal to pay money to secure justice. Then Dr. Anyas says employed graduates not eligible for NABCO. Then Deputy Special Prosecutor nominee will face Appointments Committee tomorrow as Parliament reconvenes. Then also BNFT says government has done enough to wean off IMF. That's coming from Razia Khan. Then also it says treat energy as business, not for social purposes. That's coming from the experts. Then finally, 28 investors express interest in 2 regional airports. Interesting there.
Maybe the Today newspaper.
Then we'll touch on the Today, which says Ni Obli Taki takes on GARHCS. Then Railway Minister under pressure. Then I'll make Gas State work again. That's coming from King Taki Teko Churu the second, yes. Yeah. Then pupils in danger as they walk through flood waters to go to school. So those are some of the stories on the headlines. We'll touch on others as we go through.
I see the front page of the Today newspaper. It's talking about the railway minister under pressure.
Right.
I remember that not so long ago, there was a railway developed from Takoradi through Takwa.
Yeah.
I remember that the promise had been that we're going to have another one from Takoradi all the way to Paga.
Right.
But I see the inroads that are being made. My question then is, how much is allocated to the Minister for Railway to be able to deliver on this mandate? I remember that the President, at the time he was announcing him as Minister, said he knew his expertise, and because of where he was coming from, he knew what he could do. Have we resourced him as much as we want to put him under pressure to deliver? Okay, that's the question we need to ask. Sometimes we're too hard on ourselves. Yesterday I saw something on Facebook where even the roads in America, this is Washington, D.C., where the office of the president is, they had potholes. And so I think sometimes we're too hard on ourselves, putting ourselves under pressure. I don't know, but that's what I think.
But I think
honestly.
It's a legitimate question. But Johnny, in as much as these things happen, if we don't also mount pressure on the ministers, then some go to sleep, as we've seen. Truth being that
the man who's already doing work, who's already working, how do you mount pressure on the man who's working?
Yeah, because there are timelines to it. And so really, like when it comes to politicians, they forget about the resources they need to allocate. It's just like how I will come and complain about a road that is supposed to be constructed in front of my house. Whether you have the money or not really is not my issue. All I know, you were put there to construct a road. And you do give timelines. And so if you come and you say, by the time MPP is leaving office, we should have these things in place, then I'm expecting to see that at least every year, some stretch of the road is being constructed. If that doesn't happen, then I'm sure citizens have a right to ask the questions that why is this delaying? Because we see the economic gains that we stand to benefit from when these things happen. Exactly. We know how commuting from one place to another will reduce the time in transit we spend when we have to do this along the road, as against if we had the railways working. So I don't think it's too much pressure for our railway minister. I know he's competent enough. And so for this pressure to be mounted, it just means that Ghanaians are looking out for solutions, and rightly so, he should deliver.
Well, I agree with you, but I also think, look, if for example, like I asked Justice Cheba for here, and I asked him, look, you say our prisons are full, and yet you keep committing people to prison. What's the rationale? He says, well, until you change the laws that says we can do other things apart from custodial sentences, we can't do much. So in like vein, if the minister has to follow a certain procurement process to be able to get a certain amount of money to do what he wants to do or what is being mandated to do, and you're not giving him the money, he's not getting it, what can he do? If you mount pressure on him 200,000 times, he still will not be able to do the thing. It's just as simple as A, B, C, and D. So maybe he needs to start complaining. And I think that this whole concept of having ministers who say, I was appointed by the president, and so they try to be nice even when the things are not. I mean, sometimes they, off camera, they tell you that, Charlie, the situation is not the best. But on air, when you put the microphone to them or the recorder, then they start telling you, sorry, plans are far advanced and we are working at it. They don't want to hurt anybody. But eventually, we get hurt as citizens. We do.
Anyway, Johnny, let's talk about the pupils who are in danger. I mean, when you go to the Volta region, I hear pupils of Dadevi Kope, a farming community in Ho, are living under terrible conditions, which pose danger to their lives. And of course, when you see the pictures, you see the children wading through water. This for me just brings to light the fact that these children are excited about education. And so we shouldn't just watch them walk through it and say, okay, and leave it as such. We have to make sure that these roads are in good shape for them to be able to pass through it and get to, accessible schools. You don't want children to have to go through all this before they get to school. By the time they get to school, they wouldn't be able to learn anything because they are wet. They've got worms, wriggling all over their body. They're going to come down with colds. They're going to come down with sores. I mean, this is not healthy. It's not only in Ho that we see this. This is across the whole of Ghana, the length and breadth. I think we saw a story in Volta region again, where it was a citizen report, the MTN report we usually do on News 360, where they were talking about a senior high school that has been built in almost a farming area, and it's waterlogged, and you've got, you know, the frogs making so much noise. The woman says, how do they learn when you've got all these frogs making this much noise?
And I could,
yes, an orchestra, they're singing for them, and I could so appreciate where they're coming from. And it's not fair, because again, we put them on the same platform. We're not going to look at the fact that this is what they go through to make it to school. They're going to write the same WASSCE, BEC, whatever it takes to make sure they climb this high pedestal of education. And I think it's not fair. They're all Ghanaians, and they all need to benefit from the national
you see, sometimes I think that we are too quick to run to the central government for solutions.
Right.
This is not good. This is very sad, and my heart is broken about it, knowing what I see in other communities, Clefe, around Dansuma and all of that. You have a similar situation there, where when it rains, because there's a river there, it gets full and the children can't cross to go to school, so they lose contact hours. And work very well. What do they do in terms of this? Because all the government schools within their ambit or within their area are supposed to be under their purview. How do they administer the schools? And I say, look, if there's a preparatory school or a private school in that area where children do not have, for example, a toilet or a rubbish collection bin, it is the same assembly who will rush there, issue a notice, and possibly close down the school. How do they provide those facilities for the public schools? Do they even provide it at all? So those are the critical questions we need to ask. Now, these children cross flood, or what do you, if I'll call it a river, to go to school every day. If these children grow up, are they expected to show a bit of their patriotism? Are they supposed to be showing patriotism? And how do you expect them to show patriotism when they know that other people that they watch on TV do not have to cross rivers and floods to go to school? What would be their level of patriotism that they show? And why is the local assembly, the DC, the MC, the unit committee, the assemblymen, why are they not? There are people who are on unit committees, whatever it is, they don't even attend meetings. They don't even know what happens within where they are, but they just bear it because they are using it as a trump card to rise to become members of parliament in the not so distant future. And that's a shame. If you're one of those who have taken a position and you're doing nothing, shame on you this morning. Good morning.
But again, also, you know, just in light of this, there are people with special needs whom the government does not even consider. But let's see the story of a girl who was not born autistic but became autistic as she grew up, and how well her mother has been able to handle the situation to get the best out of her. Let's watch this.
Mama, you gave life to me, turned a baby into a lady. And mama, all you had to offer was a promise of a lifetime of love. Now I know.
I say thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Little miracles, they say, happen every day, and for Mary Kufuor, her daughter Renata Nanaya Kufuor is a testament to this statement.
Okay, and a kiss. And a whole kiss.
15-year-old Renata Nanaya Kufuor was not born with autism spectrum disorder. This, according to the World Health Organization, refers to a range of conditions characterized by some degree of impaired social behavior, communication, and language. Around age 3, the few words Renata Nanaya Kufuor had been speaking had stopped completely, and she began the habit of spinning around on the spot. This followed with her making sounds more like those of a baby, which she repeated over and over again. Nanaya was unable to interact normally with other people, such as being able to make friends or show affection.
Immediately what came to my mind was maybe I need to, you know, do more prayers. Yes, probably something spiritually is happening to my daughter. Just before she turned 6, we had a Peace Corps volunteer. Her name is Laura Mock. She used to be a teacher at Notre Dame Secondary School, where I was in the 90s. And she became a very good friend. So usually when she went back after her service, she would come once a year to visit us. In one of those visits, you know, as soon as she came to our room, maybe about 5-10 minutes, she looked at Nanaya, this child all over the place, flapping arms, poor eye contact, you know, wouldn't respond to her name. She just turned and said, "Mary, looks like your child is on the autism spectrum." And I said, "What are you talking about?" It was my first time of hearing the word. When she turned 5 and 6, the behaviors were becoming difficult to manage. Especially, I remember with potty training, she had so much constipation, and then maybe 4 or 5 days before she does it. And when she wants to do it, she won't go to the toilet. Sometimes my kitchen, sometimes my bedroom, sometimes my sitting room. So that was very uncomfortable. I remember one incident when I went out, and then when I was going, she was sleeping. At that time, she wouldn't sleep at night, so sometimes she would nap during the day. So I was coming with a visitor with me, and right in my sitting room, right at the entrance, as soon as we open, here we are. So I just said, "Please excuse me, give me a minute." It was so embarrassing. In fact, it was so, that incident is something that I'm trying very hard. It was so embarrassing. That day, they like, "You've come to destroy my world." Toilets, you want to do it, you know, where nobody does it. I mean, why not?
So you beat her?
I did. You know, sometimes you're so frustrated, you don't have the answers, you're doing the best you can, and you look at this child and, you know, it's difficult. It is.
As a mother, Mary wanted her daughter to behave like any other child, but this was almost impossible.
Here you are with this child at the back of the church, shouting, wanting to grab the mic from the front, from the pastor or whoever, and everybody is standing looking at you like you don't even know, you know. No, church wasn't part of. I've started going, God should forgive me. I went one time, and it was Christmas time. We were all going for anointing, and then got to our 10. And yet you'll be so Nanaya, come see. You know, because she doesn't like these things because of her sensory issues. At that time, I didn't also understand. So then she just started shouting. And you can imagine, the next thing I heard from church was like the demons inside her. I don't think
people thought you had a child who was possessed with demons.
Yeah. So the lack of knowledge.
Nanaya has shown her that joy and love can be shown in so many other ways aside verbal communication. With the help of her mum, Nanaya has won several accolades and has even featured on the BBC.
Nanaya, look at mommy.
Look at mommy.
I love you very much. I don't know what the future holds, but I know that you're going to be well. Autism or no autism, whatever it is, it will work for your good. And I know that one day you're going to give hope to other children who may find themselves in the same situation. It is well. Amen.
Amen.
Portia Gabo, TV3 News, Accra.
It'll break my heart to hear you say goodbye.
And I'd like to say good morning to you, Nana Brako Hiapa. She's business development manager at the Holiday Inn Hotel. She likes stories like these, and she's touched every time we talk about it. Also, a big fat happy birthday to you, Araba Bading. You are the administrator at the UCC Communication Studies Department. This is from Babina Free Walker. It's your special day. Enjoy it. Invite us for the party. But let's talk about autism.
Johnny, I'd even like to tie it in with a story carried on the Finder, which says, be sensitive with the reportage on cerebral palsy. You know, we had a campaign here on talking about children with special needs and also specifically cerebral palsy. And that also comes to autism, because the mothers are saying, in as much as we want to report on it and also highlight the challenges, we should sometimes also, like we saw in Anaya's case, highlight the goods, the positives in it, because at the end of the day, it's not all just dire and gloomy. There is some hope out there. The fact that these parents who know their children are trying their best to tailor the needs to make the children live a normal or almost normal life, near normal life. And that's very important, because as you do that, you also encourage the parents to do more. But when we always paint that picture of that helpless child out there, maybe it doesn't really get the picture across as it fully is. Because in as much as they have some disabilities, they also have capabilities and abilities which have to be highlighted as well. So kudos to Nanaya and her mother.
The first time I met Nanaya was at Verna Mineral Water. You know, they had started a new campaign and they were using them as models. So there were about 6 of them. Very beautiful, lovely ladies. And a handsome, and a handsome gentleman as well. But they came on the runway themselves, unaided, and they knew what their routine was, and they just, you know, flowed along with it. And I thought to myself, if you train them, you know, you could make, because from afar you couldn't tell that they had a condition, and it is because their mothers have taken time off their schedule. And I know how painful this is. Some of their mothers could perhaps leave their regular jobs just to be able to take care of them, and that's the bane of motherhood. So it's not just about being pregnant, going to the labor ward, and I see people getting divorced and they say the father should keep the child. I mean, if I were a mother and I carried a baby for 9 months and I delivered it, no matter what the circumstance, I'll keep the baby.
You certainly will.
I will keep the baby, Johnny, because you see, training up a child is not kids play. It's not at all. I mean, my mom raised 4 of us. We're boys, all boys. So even before we went to school, we were in a boys' school, and it was tough. And so kudos to our mothers. We're celebrating them. Kudos.
Still celebrate. But
kudos to them.
That's what you mentioned is the very important part about having, you know, an autistic child or the autism spectrum disorder, because they've got things that make them better. They give them advantage, that repetitive nature, the fact that they can commit things to memory, and because it's a routine, so far as you give them a routine, they can follow through it. And so that's why it will be easy for them to model, in as much as they may have challenges with probably balancing, or because they've got some of the movements disorders. But then because it's routine and it's you go, you walk in a straight line, you come back, they're able to follow these things, and they do it so beautifully without having struggles. Whereas you and I will actually have to now be thinking, okay, how do I do it? Which way exactly? So if you look at the advantages that God in his own wisdom gave them, some, you know, disadvantages obviously because of the system they find themselves, but overall they have some abilities which we have to, you know, capture and use to their benefit.
I knew a guy who was autistic, who would come to our band rehearsal back in the day. He watched the keyboardist play the solo over time. So he watched the solo, When we're all done and everybody's seated and nobody's paid, maybe we're on break, he goes to the keyboard and he plays the solo. He plays it because he has a pictorial memory. And I think that as a country we have not done so well. Look, 10 or 11 years after the Disability Act was passed, which would include helping people like that, inclusive education and all of that. What is our story? What does it look like? I mean, how many schools can the GES beat its chest and confidently say that it has for people with these conditions, cerebral palsy, autism? How many schools? Apart from those that are privatized and a few that are dotted around the villages in the country, how many schools can the GES hit itself, or the Ministry of Education hit its chest and say, or beat its chest and say, this is what we have? Now, in terms of allocation of funds, again, we'll go to the Ministry of Finance and ask Honorable Ken Ofori-Atta, how much they, for example, give in not just for, you know, education in general, but how did they zero in on that particular one? Okay, then we also want to look at the flip side of how all the talk about gender and social protection, how is it panning out? I don't know, but it's sometimes break my heart when I hear some of these things and how we just do mere rhetorics to it. The children are suffering, their parents are suffering. I mean, elsewhere in advanced countries where parents take care of their daughters who have this, or their sons who have this situation, they take them off the job, and then the state takes care of them. Why can't we do so? Why?
Yeah, Johnny.
What sin did they commit? Did they force their children to get autism and cerebral palsy? It is nature.
You know, the brain always lies on the
How responsible is the state for them? How responsible? There are parents who are contributing to Social Security National Insurance Trust. The thing is only kept and given to you when you go on retirement. It is not social, it is not secure, there's no trust.
Mistrust. But also, it's still in light of Mother's Day, and I mean, just like Johnny said, as we're celebrating mothers and what they go through to make it work, irrespective of the time or the age at which you become a mother. Motherhood is not even only about having a biological child, but also even the child who may not be biological. But so far as you take care of a child and are able to nurture them, kudos to you mothers out there. But Ohineyere Gifty Auntie has been speaking to us about motherhood. Let's see this.
Becoming a mom for the first time is a dramatic shift in any woman's life, bringing with it a whole host of new and often overwhelming emotions. And that's the story of Ohineyere Gifty Auntie.
No touching. Very fast and dirty. Okay.
After marriage to Nana Ansankwao IV, chief of Edumasa in the Eastern region, many wondered if she could have a baby because of her age. She was 45 years then, and it was a moment of mixed emotions when she received the news of her pregnancy.
It was on the 24th of December when I was confirmed pregnant, at Resolve Hospital. It started with a flu, a cough and all that, and he said, he suspected something, I should go, but I didn't make anything out of it. But when they did the test, even the lab technician couldn't wait to take the result to the doctor. She started screaming and shouting and, saying it's positive. The whole thing was very confusing to me. So he got to say, you're pregnant and you just come to say that, come on, give me a hug. Then he gave me a hug and we're excited. But because of the excitement, the doctor said they had to give me some injection for me to sleep, relax, so I don't get too hyper. And because it was early and my age as well, I was 47 years then. So it was on the 26th that I really woke up fully. And I cried.
Pregnancy did not come easy for her, but the excitement of seeing her baby in her arms was enough consolation.
I threw up so badly, I was throwing up blood. Again, because of my age, I wasn't allowed to go through full labor. So 38 weeks, we had CS. Then as soon as the baby came out, it just took out the baby, and everybody in the room we were all singing, you made a way. I was also anxious, but God did it.
Her daughter is now 8 months, and Gifty won't go anywhere without her.
And we're standing here only because you made. And we're standing here only because you made a way. And we're standing here only because you made.
One of Gifty's goddaughters spoke fondly about how she handled her pregnancy.
Sometimes she will vomit and you saw her crying.
So, what were her cravings during pregnancy?
One day she came and said the round breads, and usually the time she needs it, you have to roam the whole of Kokomilumi or something just to go and get her taste. Then a drink, then she will say the one in the bottle, all this, her taste changed then. It was an interesting moment.
As a career woman with very busy schedules, she has overcome the panic of combining work with motherhood. She says it's not easy, but with determination, she is a proud mother.
You would live up to your name, Onyami Enyunyam, the glory of God. Everything you do, may you bring glory to God. May people see you and see God's faithfulness and His glory.
You know,
Of
Johnny,
course,
at the
man.
end, that mother's prayer,
Yeah.
it works so well and it goes so far. I'm
does,
sure
it
your
does.
mother made some prayers
Yeah,
over your head.
I did.
And that's why you are here now.
But Sarah Praku herself has 2 children. So when the stand-up, I'm wondering.
Allow her to find
Anyway, but congratulations to
kudos,
Ohinere. I mean, and you know, when you look for it for a long time and it comes, you protect
Cherish
it.
it,
And
yeah.
and I like the way she's handled the whole celebrity status and you know, the motherhood bit of it. For me, that's my takeaway. All over, yes, but.
Oh, all over. We seem
yeah.
to have forgotten about the world.
Yeah, all over,
Congratulations
it's
to the Dumelos.
Yeah,
as
and to KOD as well. Congratulations. Good
What
morning,
are you
bro.
congratulating KOD
It's
for?
it's all over. But today is the day the AFRC had an abortive mutiny, 15th of May, 1979, preceding the June 4 coup d'etat. And I can't say that history will repeat
We
itself.
hope not.
but,
We hope history doesn't repeat
obviously,
itself.
Happy birthday to Araba Baden, your administrator at the UCC School of Communication Studies Department. Of course, your history next year will repeat itself. That I can say for sure. Happy birthday to you.
That certainly will happen. But anyway, let's go out there and rant. We're talking about the Disability Act and the fact that it's been about 10 years down the line. We haven't seen or heard much about it. But let's see what you have to say as we hit the streets of Accra to rant.
Nobody here knocking at my door. This is what it feels like. This is what it feels like.
A very good morning, and we are talking disability. If we recall, in the early part of this month, one disabled woman, Rita, was denied boarding access on a domestic airline, and that sparked some controversy. But that is one too many cases against persons with disability. And so the question is, did the Disability Act 2006, Act 715, come to help in any way? This is Daily Rant. Let's keep talking. Have you ever struck your mind that, okay, because of the stress, because of the discrimination, let me end my life to, you know, die in peace? Have you had that thought?
Yes, that's true. It happened to me. This my situation happened in 2003.
Yeah.
So as I was looking for help to see whether I can store my eye, I couldn't get the opportunity to do that. So one day I went to a clinic. I won't mention the clinic. The clinic's name is along Medina Road.
Okay.
So the doctor just blankly told me that you are blind, you can't do anything. So I was shocked. I said, okay, if it is so, I don't have anything to do. If I'm blind, I don't know what I'm going to do. So I'm going to be a burden to the family. So why not finish myself? There's a bridge there. So I was standing behind the bridge to join to plan how I'll end myself peacefully. So one Samaritan could say that's how God do his works. Stand far, saw what I'm doing, the plans I'm taking. I don't know how he got to know that I'm planning bad. Then he shouted, stop it. Then he get closer to me that what is happening to me. I said, nothing happening. Then he said, oh, the action I'm taking is seeing that something is going to happen. I should leave the where I'm standing. I said, oh, no, you should let me stand. I wanted to check my things. But I put my hospital documents on top of the bridge top. So they said, no. So the man pulled me out of the bridge. So he asked me, then I explained, this is what is happening to me, and this is what is going on. I don't know how I'm going to live. I don't know how many years I'm going to live. I don't know who is going to care. Okay. So if I end my life, I think I will be peaceful than living. I don't know what I'm going to do.
Now at the beginning, people begin to ignore you, even your family, your friends, those who are working with, they don't even come closer to you. And there's no help from anywhere. So at times it happens to you, but it happened to me. I remember I tried it. I put a knife under my pillow, thinking with the mind that before they will break, I'm gone. I did it 3 times. Then I put a knife there before I open my eyes, they break. So 3 times I said, no, this thing, it means God still wants me to I just
have a bigger purpose in life.
just left it over, and then I said, oh, after all, I'm not a first blind person.
Exactly.
Yeah, so since then I'm okay. I don't think of the blindness again.
Okay, that's fine. I don't know if you've heard about your colleague's, plight. She was denied, access to, board the Africa World Airlines flight.
Yes.
Just because she was using. But I don't know. How do you feel? How did you feel when you heard that news?
That was last week we heard the news.
How did you feel?
Yeah, we were very sad. We support her because she says she took them.
To sue them.
Yeah, we all support her. We'll give her our support. We'll give her our support because that's how it do happen. Because even the buses, there's a law that if they are loading a bus, they should leave the first seat for a person with disability. Yeah. But when we get there, sometimes it becomes difficult for you even to sit. Exactly. Because with my disability, if you put me in middle seat, to get down, it becomes difficult. So sometimes if this our sister go to law court where they're able to talk about it, we will see all the institutions we started to work.
Okay. Yeah. How do you feel?
I think that that is her artificial legs. So are they saying that those boarding the plane should cut off their legs before they climb?
No. Okay.
That is her legs. How come do they tell her because of these things you cannot climb? It will cause harm to people. It means those people climbing they should not go there with their legs.
Okay. But I know, per the international guidelines, you are supposed to notify the airliner, let's say 48 hours before your flight, and she failed to do that. If she had notified them, they would have known that, okay, this is a disabled person, so we can't contain you. I think she also faulted there.
No, but didn't she buy the ticket?
No, it was a third party. She didn't buy it.
The third party. What did they inquire from the third party? What he went and
I think that's what the case.
Yes, they should inquire from the third party. Have you noticed the people? But they shouldn't take the person, the disabled person that he cannot go on board. You see?
Yeah.
Like I'm coming, you are sending me to some place, and I'm going with you. So somebody should ask you, have you done all the necessary inquiries before bringing her? Not me.
So I know the Disability Act 2006, that's the Act 715, was passed in a way to make your life better. Are you seeing that betterment?
The 10 years given, the ultimatum given has even collapsed. And we are not seeing what they even said about the Disability Act. All the buildings, the roads, the market, is that still the same like that? If there are new buildings spranging up, but if you go there, it's the same steps and gutters all over. So we didn't see any change. The implementation is just poor.
Can you feed my curiosity? How do you feel when you are treated that way? I just want to have that.
In fact, when we treated that way, to me I thought because I was a blind person, I cannot see her, so I was trying to dodge me. And at times when they see a disabled person entering into an office, all their money is this people are coming to worry us. They're coming to ask for money. They're coming to ask for an assistance. But let me enter. Ask me what I want before you tell me what you can do and what you cannot do for me.
But you guys see yourself as a burden. I'll be glad to offer any assistance to maybe take you into the car and all that. But you feel that you're a burden.
That is how people think of.
Okay. Do you feel you're a burden?
No, we are not a burden.
That's what people
we are not a burden. We are not a burden. We are like simple like you. We are not a burden.
Why you see us walking from
we are not a burden.
Didn't you see us walking?
Yeah, you're walking here.
Walking, conversing, not even think that we are blind.
No.
We don't think that we are burden to people. But that's how people see about us. Every human being on this earth, I can even say, even if it's a burden to the neighbor, because we are each other's keeper. So if we see me as a burden to you, that's how you see it.
People see that we are burden, but we are not a burden. Because one day I went to a store, I wanted to buy a liver blaze and a liver handle to go and fix at my house. So motor took me to the shop. So the moment I get down there, I open my white cane. Then the guy told me, oh, this is the store. So I was struggling to get to there.
Okay. Did he help you?
So no, he told me that there's a step in front of me.
Okay.
So this is the store in front of me. I said, okay. So the moment I was, oh, madam. Won't you insist me before asking me this? Let me get closer to you to see what I'm coming to beg or I'm coming to buy something. Why do you just shout on me? So I have to stand where I am to explain myself before getting to your place. Oh, okay. Yeah, sorry. You see me, somebody dropped me down from motor. Then he pointed your store. So you must know that your store is a public place.
Yeah, people come and buy there.
Before I went there, They give me chair, I sat down, I bought the things I want. They said before it was begging me. That is sorry. I said, no, we don't do like that.
If you take the Disability Act, I know there are some thematic provisions. That's the employment, accessibility, rights, and later education. Do you think institutions have been able to inculcate disability-friendly policies for your betterment?
Accessibility is just zero. At the appointment, I think there's more room for improvement.
I know one of you guys was even the minister chieftaincy, so at least laudable.
Yeah, but not he. Yes, but there is still more room for improvement.
Okay, so I'm using this opportunity to encourage you that don't look down upon yourself. Your purpose in life will be fulfilled. The discrimination, the stress, just gather hope. Your destiny will be fulfilled. That's the word of encouragement I can give to you. We are with you, TV3. We are with you. All the best in your endeavors.
But I also have some appeal for you if you consider it. Okay. This our white king.
Yeah.
Many people, many Ghanaians don't know it.
Okay.
So if we will appeal in behalf of my regional chairman,
okay,
to TV3, if you could give us some every day, okay, maybe in the evening,
okay,
so that you come and do some.
My bosses are watching here.
So that we will do some education
yeah, okay,
about the white king.
Okay.
We'll come out so that we do some education, so that
okay,
you people will take it every evening. You show it to the public, so that they will, especially the driver. Sometimes we work with the
has got you. We'll sort that.
You point it to the roadside, they hit it away because they even don't know it.
Okay.
So we appeal with you.
No, point it out before you run out. It's taken off from your hand.
The region will be very happy.
Your concerns will be put in good faith. Yeah, exactly. We'll work on that. So, well, these are thoughts and concerns from some disabled persons here, and for them, they want governments to ensure they live in peace, work in peace. Whatever they do, they should do it in peace and in order. Let's know what you also think watching home. Log on to our social media platforms. On Facebook, it's News on TV3, and on Twitter, it's the News TV3. Thanks for watching. Have a good morning.
Welcome back, and let's get into our news review segment this morning. I've been joined by Kwame Agbojaye, Honourable Member of Parliament for the Dakro constituency. Chief, good morning.
Good morning.
It's been a long time.
Yes.
How are you doing?
No bad. How are you?
Also, Dr. Samuel Kwejo Frimpong is a Technical Economic Advisor at the Office of the Vice President. Chief, welcome. Doc, how are you doing?
I'm okay.
Wonderful. I like your smoke. It's sweet.
Thank you.
It's Afropolitan. So, let's start off, and of course, we've introduced you to the front pages of the dailies already. But the Ghana Palava this morning says, Eurocode report destroys Bawumia interoperability lies. The story is on page 3. I read a bit of it and we'll get into the details. It says, a leaked investigative report by the Economic and Organized Crime Office into the contracting of Sipton Switch Systems Limited by the Bank of Ghana to establish Ghana Retail Payment System Infrastructure has revealed that there was no wrongdoing in the award of the contract or the process leading up to it. Speaking at the launch of the mobile money interoperability platform to aid across network mobile money transactions, Loquacious Vice President Mahmoudou Bawumia claimed that the MPP government has implemented the same system that the NDC government wanted to implement, with 4.6 billion cedis at a cost of 4 million Ghana cedis. A statement attributed to the former governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Abdul Nasir Isaku, categorically denied the claims and stated that it was rather Dr. Bawumia who had committed state funds to a project that would have been funded wholly by the private sector. So it comes with a full report. We'll get details of it. But Doc, let me start with you and ask you, what did the Vice President seek to achieve when he made this pronouncement at the launch of the interoperability system?
Well, good morning to you and your listeners. I think basically he owns it, let me say, duty for Ghanaians to know the cost that is involved in this whole process.
Right.
Based on the fact that it was initially awarded to Roland and his company, or the company that he fronts for, and now the cost that is going to be produced is less. So it's important that he makes that clear and that difference clear. We find in a country that you cannot just stand up and do things without letting the public know how much goes into it. So that is the reason why he made it known to, the Ghanaians, that as if we watch him launch such a laudable project, it is important we know the cost element of it, and that is why he made that note.
Dr. Nasir Isaku, former governor of the Bank of Ghana, says it would have been free. You have rather cost us 4 million cedis. What do you say to that?
Honestly, in the first place, I heard and I saw a statement that he signed yesterday denying that particular issue coming from him. And that actually put me at peace, because I would have been very much surprised that a former governor, a gentleman that I know, would make such a comment. Do you believe that someone or a company would do such a project for free? Look at the cost involved. What do they stand to benefit for doing such a project free of charge to Ghanaians?
So it will be paid by the private sector, by the private sector, not from state funds, as it is now, as we've committed money.
No, I don't know whether you've seen the copy of the contract that was signed, but I mean, it is very clear. I can give you a copy which I have here. I can give you a soft copy.
I've seen it.
Yes. I mean, did you see anything like that? So that's what I'm saying, that it is good he has come to deny it, that he never issued that statement. And I'm wondering, the people behind that statement, what they aim to achieve. Why will you attribute a statement that you know is false to a former governor? What is it that you want to achieve? Because they wanted to create the impression, like they really tried to create, that it would have been free, but now we are making the Ghanaian citizens to pay, which you and I will agree that it is not the case, and it is not true.
In fact, I'm just getting updates from our producer that the deputy governor says Dr. Isaku has not denied that declaration that he made, and so I don't know.
If he hasn't denied it, then I'm highly disappointed.
Why?
Because I've seen the contract, and the contract never said that it was going to be done for free. So I don't know how come he, as a former governor,
are you antagonizing? Is the vice president antagonizing the former administration led by Mr. Mahama in this Sipton enterprise to make them look bad?
I don't think the vice president has that objective. I mean, he's a fine gentleman. He has no objective or no intention of making the former government looks bad. All that he cleared to do is for Ghanaians to see that we are saving them 1 billion cedis out of this new deal altogether. And then there's value for money for this project. And that's what he tried to do. It is not what will he achieve by making the former government look bad. He has nothing to achieve. He's the vice president, and he has proven that he's capable, he's competent. So far, you could see all the things that he has done leading the economy of this country. So he has nothing to achieve by destroying them. But he only wants to put things in perspective by comparing.
He has an election to win in 2020.
Well, he has an election, but he believes that his works will win the election for him, and not propaganda. And he's not a propagandist. Knowing him, I mean, he will not lower himself to do any propaganda. I mean, as an economist, it's good you compare. Okay, so he is saying that this is what we are offering you, but this is how it was offered. So that you do the comparison.
Some elements in the former administration say it is not just what they budgeted for, was not just for mobile interoperability, but there are so many other components that will come to the amounts that was quoted.
Okay, so we are now asking them, they should come out and tell us.
What do you know?
Because what we know is that was the money that was paid for that particular contract. Okay. So now if they are saying that wasn't the case, then they should come and tell us. Because the contract that you say you've seen, you could see that it was a contract that was awarded for this project. So I don't know why now they are coming out with that issue.
You doubt the figures they are putting?
Oh yes, I do because it contradicts the contract that I have sent, which I know is not faked, which I know is not edited. So I doubt what they are doing.
So what has been done now, the 4 million which is being spent, what does it cover? Just mobile interoperability, or what? Does it come with other benefits as well?
Now, you see, the whole project is 2 phases. We have phase 1 and phase 2. Okay, so it covers the entire project.
Okay, Kwame, let me come to you. So the vice president said there was wrongdoing in this whole enterprise. What do you say? Your initial comments?
Good morning to you. Good morning to my colleague on the show, and good morning to your very cherished viewers, especially those watching us from the my holy village of Adaklu. It is a very sad situation, and for the lack of proper rendition, I would say this. You see, the Vice President has reduced himself to the communication officer of the NPP. In fact, I don't remember the last time I even noticed there's a communication officer, in a sense that you notice since Dr. Bawumia or the NPP took over administration, they sought to create the impression that so many things went wrong in the previous administration because it was a campaign message. So in government, they need to find a way of justifying that. You remember the famous comment by the Cocoa Board Chief Executive about Cocoa Roads? I would have thought by now there would have been people in court for being questioned about inflated cocoa roads or cocoa roads that don't exist. You remember paperless port? That program was already it was a work that Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority and others were implementing. Indeed, it was not fully operational.
It was on the pilot basis.
Yes, exactly.
But you give them credit for rolling it out.
Oh yes, but Dr. Bawumia sought to create the impression that the idea was his idea. You remember the fact that the Driver and Vehicle Licensing Authority was trying to implement a new driving license before NPP came. Right. Dr. Bawumia rushed to that place one afternoon, implemented it. As we speak, nobody is being issued a new driving license. You remember Dr. Bawumia?
You're saying this as a member of the committee in Parliament.
Of course. We are not being issued a new driving license.
Why?
If you go there,
why do we know?
Dr. Bawumia is the only one who knows because he rushed it.
But you are on the committee in
Parliament. I'll tell you. Dr. Bawumia claimed that Ghana's technology was above that of the United Kingdom, United States, that we have leapfrogged everybody. So we are going to do a digital addressing system that was better than everybody else. You know what is happening. Let's come back to
what are we trying to achieve with
what I'm trying to achieve is that Dr. Bawumia is basically doing things that we probably need to be careful how we look at this thing. What is interoperability? Right. Basically, it's like a central server which is supposed to seamlessly handle maybe data traffic from other independent operators. In this case, mobile money operators. It is a very good thing. Right. And government through the Bank of Ghana was in the process of making sure that when I have my MTN mobile money and I want to send money to my brother on maybe Vodafone cash and other things, there shouldn't be a problem. There should be a seamless transfer of that data to make our lives better. Indeed, the Bank of Ghana started this process before the new administration took place. Okay. I heard this morning from my good friend on the show that he has seen a contract that 4.6 billion Ghana cedis was paid.
Paid?
Yes. Unless you want to was
that what you said?
You are here.
The money was,
I never said the money was paid. I said the contract was awarded. There's a difference between awarding a contract and money being paid.
Okay.
So I'm surprised.
The question, and then he said that the former governor has denied that. As far as we know, the former governor did not, and his deputy said that all those people peddling the information that the former governor said that the ingredients, the facts stated in that statement were wrong, are rather misleading the public. Right. That they stand by the details of those. And what are the details? That what Dr. Bawumia launched and is talking about, by the way, as of last night, what Dr. Bawumia launched, just like the DVLA, the driving license, doesn't work. They are still using Vodafone platform.
I know people who say they have tried it and it has worked.
Well, that's what I'm saying. No, I'm telling you, if it started working last night, that's what I said. If it started working last night, that's a different matter. Okay. Because once again, he rushed. Is the scope of the scope of work being done by the previous service provider the same as that have been being implemented here? Is there any evidence that anything went wrong under the award of the previous contract?
Was there any breach?
No, I am not aware. In any case, if there was a breach, Iyoko should have brought the issue up. And we live in a country where laws work. This is the Public Procurement Act. If any of it has been breached, there's a remedy. There's a way to remedy this. And this is the fact. Indeed, nobody was paid 4.6 billion. The fact is that a businessman trying to do this needed to do a life cycle cost. In fact, if you even buy a car, telling yourself, okay, I'm buying a car, how long am I supposed to use this car? It's not only the cost or what you pay the garage, that is the cost. You have to think of fuel maintenance over the period.
Could we have gotten it cheaper than 4.6 billion?
Is this 4.6 billion in the first place?
No, I'm asking you, could we have gotten it cheaper than 4.6 billion?
In buying any ICT service, you can pick and choose what you want to buy. And that is why I asked the question. Is the scope of work of the so-called 4 million that Dr. Bawumia is talking about the same as the 4.6 billion, which was a life cycle cost? And I am happy that the Bank of Ghana, those who worked at the bank those days, came to tell us that actually the entire project was supposed to cost government zero. There was no money that was supposed to be paid to the service provider. Indeed, they made us aware that the 300,000 CD they set aside was just to support their own staff for going around the country to monitor the efficiency of the system.
Right.
So government was not supposed to pay a penny. It is when people use these services that the service provider charges them a levy for using their service,
which will ultimately become their
exactly. But so in effect, in what way is Dr. Bawumia, what is the basis of Dr. Bawumia saying that it was this to government and it is now smaller when the thing is supposed to be costing us no amount of money? In fact, the 4.6 billion is a projected cost in terms of the life cycle cost. So this whole thing, it was a needless thing, and that is why I'm saying that Dr. Bawumia sees the propaganda value in everything that he does. So he can't separate himself from just going ahead.
That's not fair.
From going ahead to just do things as a vice president.
He sees propaganda value.
Yes, he sees propaganda value in everything. When you talk about anything, Dr. Bawumia thinks that there's a propaganda to be made. Can Dr. Bawumia basically say that Ghana, he has saved Ghana any amount of money with this interoperability?
He used to be deputy governor of the Bank of Ghana. Maybe there's something he knows that we don't know.
So he should put it out. And hold on. He used to be deputy governor. I am not sure you are trying to say that he is more intelligent than all those people who are in the bank now.
No,
because
I'm not
exactly. He's also worked in the bank there. The truth is, he wasn't there when this thing happened. So I'll give him credit for it. I would rather say that since he wasn't there when the thing was implemented, he should listen to reason. I hope that NPP would have come here this morning saying that the content of the statement issued were wrong, that the things that were in the statement were wrong. But they are rather trying to say that the governor said he didn't issue the statement. This is a big platform. The governor can even call into the program this morning and say that he didn't issue that statement. Or he can ask somebody to call in and do that. And I know he will not do it because those are the facts.
Doc.
Well, I honestly speaking, I sometimes get surprised when I hear my colleagues and my senior colleagues trying to launch attack on the vice president. He's not a subject of discussion this morning.
That's clear.
Yes, but you see, the point is that what I've noticed is they had an administration where the vice president was hardly heard. They had an administration where basically the economy, the vice president was in charge of the economy, even though the vice president is noted or is supposed to be in charge of the economy. So they seen His Excellency Dr. Bawumia now be in charge of the economy. They seen the things that he's doing, trying to build up the economy that was collapsed. They're trying to see how he's trying to revive the same institutions which they collapsed. I mean, they feel that no, if we don't try to tarnish this gentleman's image, we'll be in trouble.
Are we politicizing everything
that's what I'm saying, because
of the Ghanaian people?
You see, when His Excellency the Vice President launched the program and he made reference to the previous administration, he did not politicize it. He was talking about the fact of the amount of money that has been saved.
Right.
So for us this morning, or for someone to be picking him up, to even try to make him look like he's a propagandist or trying to do propaganda, I mean, that is where I'm coming from. Okay, so I think that is really not fair. This is a gentleman who knows what he's about. There are records that are there to prove. When you talk about, it's interesting when this government tried to get things done rightly, and things that we are doing very well, NDC tried to take credit for it, and they tell you they started it. Did you hear about this paperless thing during the NDC administration? If they really started it, did you hear anything about it? Did you even hear about the concept paper that was written during the administration? This driving license issue he's talking about that they started, did you hear anything about it? If there's anything that they started, definitely there should be a proposal, there should be a concept paper about it. There would have been a step that would have seen that yes, this is where they started, this is where they got to, but because they couldn't continue, because their mandate was not renewed, that is why they could not continue. So please, I mean, for Christ's sake, we are, Ghanaians today are very wide awakened. We are intellectuals, and they analyze issues. They don't just take things because you've said it, but they analyze issues before accepting them. Okay, so that is a point that I want to make.
Kwame, let me ask a final one. So the figures, are they realistic to you, 4.6? There's a section of the public that think that most of you are defending the defenseless, and that you could have gotten it cheaper on the market, that you could have gone to a place where you could have gotten it way less than what was quoted or projected.
You asked a very good question initially. Are we not politicizing this thing? The truth is that this platform being created was not being created by government. Just because Bank of Ghana is a government institution, we are talking about it as if, to the extent that
but the Bank of Ghana is autonomous, is it not?
Well, so when Dr. Bawumia basically says that the NPP government have saved the country, it creates the impression that this was like a government thing that is happening. No member of the NDC or NPP actually signed or took part in this agreement. It was purely a Bank of Ghana thing. But you see, he said something that we need to interrogate further. That Dr. Bawumia is not a propagandist and other things. People sought to tarnish his image, but he went to say whatever he wanted to say. Nobody would do that. Paperless. You see, there's a difference. There's a government who actually basically got on to do things without talking. And I give you one example. The whole of the transport ministry, rail, aviation, and all of them was under one. Guess the kind of things we did with two people. The kind of things we did at airports, on the rail, another thing, and in the road transport, and roll that back with 3 different ministries. The kind of things they are doing, mouth, talking, doing nothing. So if he says that, did you hear anybody talking about paperless? We don't need to talk about it. All we needed to do was to do it. The DVLA trying to change driving licenses.
He said there's no document to prove that you started it.
Hold on. This one, I wouldn't fault him. I would just tell him to check Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority and others. You will find that he would find out that every Ghanaian knows that project was effectively being piloted. In any case, the time they took over and the time they launched it, they couldn't have actually launched it.
The doc says it was part of the implementation committee.
Then he would have known that DVLA.
Doc, did you know?
Now he's turning to DVLA.
Oh no, let me tell you. No, he said that everything. No, not only the port. You said that anything you were doing, we said we started it, and he says he was there. And I'm saying that since he worked at the office of the vice president, he would have known that the DVLA actually built a whole IT infrastructure, offices, everything to roll out the digital driving licenses. Dr. Bawumia only rushed there one afternoon, and guess what? I was surprised. Our committee, the embarrassment was that even my committee was invited and later told not to come, only for us to see the news on the because they are running a government as you go. You understand? There's no plan. They wake up in the afternoon. What should we do? Okay, let's go to DVLA and launch the thing. They launch it. Go to the stations and ask the drivers. If you go to DVLA that you want to renew your driving license, does anybody give you
at the end of the day, with all these examples given in different sectors, mobile interoperability, is working now. It's come. Or you have your doubts about?
No. What? We didn't start this conversation by saying it is not good. I've already said that.
What I'm saying is that, and I'd like you to end on the politicization of nearly everything.
Yes.
Look, the people out there are concerned about the figures. 4.6, they say, would have been too much, and they are lauding the government.
No, nobody's lauding the government. Everybody knows Dr. Bawumia was playing propaganda. And I'm saying that Ghana did not lose a dime. In any case, the people at the bank are saying, the people who actually worked on this are saying that it shouldn't have cost government even a dime.
Right.
I was hoping then people would say that
it was supposed to be from tariffs and charges by the users.
So when they say it costs 4 million,
build, operate, and transfer.
Exactly. It's just like if I don't use mobile money, and there are many Ghanaians who don't use mobile money. Right. What is this cost to them? They are not supposed to pay anything. It is them who are now coming to say it's 18 million, it's 4 million. Who we are saying that what you are calling 4 million is actually money you should explain, because there's not supposed to be even a 4 million cost to it. It's supposed to be zero cost to government.
I'll tell you the pain and why NDC seems to be so emotional about this, to the extent that some of their big wins also have to get involved. This would have been a huge source of loot and share, create loot and share.
How do you know that?
How do I know? Look at the person that was fronting the company.
Honorable Kennedy Ajepon's wife got a contract from this.
When you're talking, please.
They said they got it too.
With all respect.
This is procurement. Which part of this act was?
No, I'm not even done. Am I done? The point I'm trying to make is that, look, this would have run for about 25 years.
Right.
Whilst even the JM, the former president John Mahama, and his friend Roland would have been running this even after they would have left office.
My brother, you see, this is somebody speaking from the office of the vice president. He says that
he's a propaganda.
The former president and Roland would have been running this. You need to bring us back. Did you see President Mahama's name in the contract?
Please note your rebuttals. Allow him to.
No, but you see, you made your point. You made your point, and I was silent. Okay, because I know that what you are saying about the vice president is not true.
Right.
So the point I'm trying to make is that this contract was to be awarded to Roland. The contract was awarded to Roland to run for about 25 years. The reason I'm bringing JM in, or former president in, is that we all know the relationship that he has with him.
But that is not on paper.
That is not on paper, of course.
The company that bid for it or got the bid doesn't include Mr. Mahama.
No, I agree. But the point I'm trying to make is that, yes, I'm not drawing him into it. I'm not drawing him into it. I'm just trying to give you a relationship between the gentleman who fronts for the company. How
consequential is that
relationship? And I'll tell you why. Now, so their pain is the fact that the contract would have been awarded to them, and it would have run for 25 years, and they would have been getting something all the time.
You are assuming?
Yes, I mean, I'm an economist. I run on assumption that leads to reality. So the point is, so at the end of the day, now they are not getting that contract, and it has been now the contract is being done at a lesser price, saving about 1 billion cedis to the Ghanaian. So that is why they are trying to do all these things. And for me, that shouldn't have been the case. Let's look at the cost element. Let's look at the value of it. Let's look at the fact that it is working. Okay, it is not something that has been said. It is not something that has been launched and it is not being done. It is something which is going on. It is something that Ghanaians are happy about, and they are applauding it. Okay. Because now, if you need money, you don't have to say that because I use one network and I'm not using the other one, so I cannot get money transferred to me. It has made the whole system easier now, and everybody is happy about it.
All right, Kwame, quick rebuttal and then we can go.
May I ask you, so the people doing it now, they are doing it together with Dr. Bawumia, is that right?
They are doing together.
Dr. Bawumia is getting a cut from what they are doing now.
Not at all. I mean,
so with that logic, which you said that because President Mahama knows Roland, he's getting a cut.
Did I say that? I didn't say he's getting a cut.
So you said there's a relationship to them.
We're trying to create a relationship.
So is Roland not a friend? Hold on. So those who you want to do this thing now, it means that you have relationship with them, and
you can cross check. I mean, they have no relationship.
So you
so today you are denying the friendship between former president and Roland. Is that what you are trying to say?
You see, I was hoping there was somebody at Dr. Bawumia's office who would just speak because himself, when he tells me something, I have to think about it. Because let me tell you, I'm being honest. I was hoping there was somebody, because you came here this morning, you said many things, and then basically you said that you don't want to do politics, but that is exactly what you have done. I'm saying that Ghanaians will know the truth. You have been exposed by the fact that government did not award this contract and have paid anybody 4.6 billion. 2, government was not committing to pay 4.6 billion in the future.
So 3, is that what he's saying?
Government, the Bank of Ghana never indulged in any act of fraudulent behavior during the award of this contract. The last one, you sought to create the impression that the former governor did not utter those words, that those exposés in the release were not from him. You refuse to talk about the content. Now you are on the back foot, because all those things are turning out to be things that you said, and that is why I'm saying that Dr. Bawumia thinks there's a propaganda value in everything, and they talk too much by doing nothing. The reason that hold on, I'll conclude.
You're taking a
no. The reason, I don't know why they like the reason you have 110 ministers, 1,000 staffers like you. You can't show a liter of water that Ghanaians have invested in you. You can't show a kilometer of road built. You can't show even a chips compound. You are on the path of thinking administration of this country is to borrow or talk. Why people need more for
food and jobs, free
one thing for food, isn't it amazing that they said they planted for food and jobs, yet the price of food is up. It is only the Ghanaian type of economists in MPP who would invest so much and say there's bumper harvest, yet food prices will go up.
Okay, we'll move on. Page 3 of the BNFT, in fact, it's on the front page, says government has done enough to win off IMF. Razia Khan says so, and the story written by my good friend Richard Nianekwe Abe. It says government's robust economic performance among the structural reforms, other structural reforms, has vindicated its decision not to seek an extension of a 3-year 918 million USD extended credit facility program with the IMF. Razia Khan, Standard Chartered's chief economist for Africa and the Middle East, has said. It says, according to Mrs. Khan, the strong macroeconomic performance of the past 18 months came as a surprise to everyone, including Standard Chartered, which had forecasted growth of about 6.1% last year, only to see the economy expand to 8.5%. Speaking earlier to journalists, the Standard Chartered chief economist had said the economy growing stronger than projected. The non-oil GDP growth also recorded a significant contribution, contrary to the bank's projection that the growth was driven by oil. And so, I'll start with you, Doc. It says we've done enough to win off IMF. Question: when are we getting off IMF? We're told that in 2018 we would have gotten off. Are we still on track to get off IMF?
Yes, we are still on track, and like you rightly heard the report, the macroeconomic indicators are showing. As we speak, we know the rate of inflation, the single digits now. I mean, you've seen all the macroeconomic indicators are proving that we are on course. The government is very much determined to make sure that this IMF program that has cost us a lot in the past is ended, because we can't continue.
When are we ending? What does the calendar look like?
It looks good, and we are in 2018. 2018 hasn't ended yet, and the budget cycle will end in November, December. And we are praying and hoping, knowing very well that looking at what
you gave us 2018.
Yes, 2018.
So are we to expect an end in 2018?
Yes, we have to expect an end in 2018.
So by November, it would have ended.
Yes, and we are determined to make sure that it is not renewed. I mean, we are not God, but things that we are doing as a government, we are very much determined that we will not renew this IMF program.
The NDC thinks you are juggling too many things, trying to fix the economy, trying to do capital-intensive projects, trying to do so many things at the same time, and it's not giving you time to achieve some of the things you want to achieve. Is that an agreement?
No, I don't think so. Whatever we are doing are things that we are supposed to do as a government in a way, unless they want to pick out a particular project.
They say you must first, if you say the economy is broke, fix it first, and then you can jump on to do projects. But you can't be fixing it and and be jumping onto projects. That's like,
you know, one interesting thing.
No.
There have been the same people who also accuse us that we are not doing anything. You heard him talking about for some time we haven't done anything. Talking about water, talking about those things. Forgetting that free SHS is there. Forgetting that we've tried to revive the collapse in National Health Insurance. Forgetting that we tried to revive the school feeding program. Forgetting that we've also introduced NAPCO to also get job for the unemployed graduates. That this same IMF program led us to. So all these things we are doing, assuming that we decided that okay, let's not do anything, let's build only the collapsed economy. There have been the same people who have come out saying that we haven't done anything. So things have been done. We are in control. We have an efficient management team. For the first time, we have economic management team that meets weekly to assess the state of the economy, look at the way forward.
How do you know that the previous administration were not meeting weekly?
They should tell us who the economic management team members were. And they should tell us how often.
That is public information.
Oh, come on,
that is public information.
Yes, it is based on that public information that we know.
But the composition.
So thank God we have not just an NDC member, a member of parliament coming from there. He should just give me 5 members, only 5 members of economic management team during the NDC administration, and I'll give you all the 7 members.
I'll give you the one closer to you. Mr. Kwame Penim was a member.
Oh, economic and
hold on. I said let me give you the one. Hold on. You said it doesn't exist. And I said 5. You said no, not 5. I said not 5. You said they don't exist, and I said that I want to give you one which is closer to you. Kwame Penim was a member.
He is looking for 5.
Why 5? Why 5?
Okay, so how many were you having?
You said it doesn't exist, and I gave you one which is closer to you.
The vice president, Mr. Mpianim, were
no. So
and how often
let him admit now. So the team exists. You asked him a very good question.
No.
He said they don't exist.
Okay.
And then they don't meet. And you just said that. Then I said I gave him one. So do they exist?
No. And I still insist that they don't.
So what was
no, there's a difference between having an economic advisor who we know he was than having economic management team.
What's the difference?
The difference is that you have a team that meets aside advisors who advise on a regular basis, but you have a team as it is now
but
that meets to assess.
Somebody can multitask. Is it wrong?
No, I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with that at all.
Do we know if Mr. Mpianim was multitasking?
As in what was it? I said economic advisor that we all know that he was. Was there? That's I asked of 5 because we know him to. He was an economic advisor and not a part of the economic management team.
But really,
and I'm saying if we have an economic management team,
given us this information that you meet weekly, we wouldn't have known.
Yes, but I mean,
you chose to tell us. That's why we know.
Yes, so that's what I'm also asking here. Because if he's saying that they had, and no, I'm also telling you because we meet economic management team. We have 7-member economic management team that meets weekly, and there are minutes and report everything to show.
At what cost to the state?
No cost.
No cost.
Yes, because these are ministers.
Okay.
These 7-member team are ministers headed by the vice president.
Right. Okay.
So there's no extra cost for them. Unlike how they had an economic advisor who was being paid. I mean, I don't want to.
But you also have advisors who are being paid.
Yes, but he was adding him to economic management team that we are not aware of.
And that's what you disagree with.
Yeah, that's what I disagree with. So we have an economic management team that runs this economy. And I'm not surprised about the positive economic indicators. Because if you have someone like Dr. Baumia being the head of economic management team, very experienced. I mean, you look at his records. As a former governor, someone that was taken to Zimbabwe, I mean, to go and help them come out.
And how did the Zimbabwe economy?
How long was he there? Look at the period that he was there. Look at the period that he was there.
And how is the Zimbabwe economy?
His period, he did very well. Look at the period that he was there.
What happened?
Oh, my brother.
Did you hear what happened in Zimbabwe?
Oh, you didn't see the economic indicators during his period.
No, tell us.
Look at it. No, you don't know.
I don't know. Zimbabwe has got the biggest inflation in the world.
That wasn't his.
That was when he was there.
That was when he was there.
When he left,
look at the period that he was there.
Very interesting.
Because this same person now is in Ghana.
Tell us what it was when he was there.
Yes, I'll tell you. This same person now is in Ghana in charge of the economy. And look at the inflation now. Look at the rate of inflation. Inflation is about 14.5, and we are having it as 9.6.
Standard Chartered says you're doing well. Inflation costs with told is doing well. How do the people feel this in their pockets? Yesterday, I went to the market. A fruit of tomato costs 1 cedi, one fruit, like that. It costs 1 cedi. That's not good for a country that says we have bumper harvest. How do we juxtapose the two? That we're doing well economically, and yet.
Okay. To be honest with you, I don't know the market that you
No,
went to.
I went to Kaneshie market.
You went to Kaneshie and one tomato.
One. Ask anybody.
Okay. But
ask anybody.
Okay. So I'm happy about that point.
Yesterday, I was shocked to the bone.
And I'm happy you made that point. So that should tell you how much it would have cost if the rate of inflation is not as it is now and should have been.
But that has never happened before.
No,
you
but you see,
one fruit of tomato for once.
No, honestly, I'm not saying that you're not telling the truth, but this is surprising to me because I'll be surprised. I haven't seen that in.
Does it affect you? Does this affect you?
No, you see,
like
if you're talking about how do people. Unless you want us to keep it at the fruit of tomatoes, which we don't have to limit ourselves to.
I'm saying
you're looking at how this benefits Ghanaians.
I'm saying that
how does this benefit Ghanaians?
Good. I've heard the figures. I've heard the reviews.
Yes.
And yesterday, I wanted to have small tilapia with gari and pepper. So I went to Kaneshie market
to buy tomatoes.
So the woman said one is 1 cedi, one fruit. I said, how?
Maybe either she was joking or she was cheating you.
No, it wasn't just me. There were two other ladies who wanted to buy it. Yes. The ladies were actually telling me that, hey, Masa, now back Romana.
No, but for me, I mean, we are all in Ghana here. I'm surprised that maybe it's the Kaneshie market which is like that. But that is also surprising to you that one fruit of tomatoes is costing 1 cedi. I think that maybe the person she just saw how you look and decided, okay, you have a lot of money, let me just sell it to you at that amount. Otherwise, I don't think there's any market in Ghana here that's just a fruit of tomatoes. Maybe it's a big one.
The lady directing the show now is Babina Finwalker. She cooks on a daily basis,
and she buys tomatoes.
And she says it is 1 cedi where she lives as well.
Oh, for only one fruit.
My cameraman John 9pence is telling me one fruit is. They don't live at Kaneshie. So Agbobroshi, Makola, and all the markets in between. This is a reality.
Okay. Well, in any case, I mean, the fruit, the tomatoes, I mean, it's an agricultural produce. As much as possible, that's why we are bringing in this policy of planting for food and jobs to make sure that our food production is no longer seasonal. Okay, because we find ourselves in a country where our production is always seasonal. Our food production is seasonal because we don't have effective irrigation system. We depend on the rain. And in the south here, we have 2 rainy seasons. In the north, they have 1 rainy season. So as much as possible, the government is putting things in place to ensure that we have all year round.
Before that fully kick starts, how do we juxtapose the figures? Inflation has reduced. We have a single-digit inflation. We're doing very well to win ourselves off IMF, and yet the people can't feel it in their pockets.
No, if you say they can't feel it, that's why I have a problem. You see, inflation is not calculated. Inflation is not calculated on only one.
Yes, but if I have to cook jollof, and I need tomato as my base.
Yes.
And I go to the market and.
But tomato is not the only ingredient that you use.
Yes, but you need
tomato
to make the jollof sweet.
Yes, and I agree. And I'm telling you that maybe the cost, the reason why that particular fruit costs that amount is because of the season.
Right.
And that's why I'm telling that because we have seasonal crops. You agree with me that there are times that you even have about 5 or 6 tomatoes fruit going for 1 cedi.
Exactly, I agree.
Yes, so it is because of the season.
So now we have mango in excess, we have avocado pear.
So now you can see how cheap they are.
But we're not taking advantage of it.
No, you see, that is why we are encouraging Ghanaians to go into this one factory, for instance. Okay. It's supposed to take advantage of some of these things to set up the factories as where raw materials can be gotten to be able to help.
Thank you very much, Kwame. So we're told that we're getting ready to win ourselves off IMF. The economy looks good, and it's because of how it's being managed at this point. You don't disagree, do you?
Well, in the first place, you accused the NPP initially of the fact that you said they were investing in, they were doing capital investment. I see that as rather an accusation rather than a comment. Accusing NPP.
Kwame Zombie is the paper, is the BNFT.
Accusing NPP of investing in capital projects. It's a very grave accusation.
No, but that's the BNFT's.
I don't think they will take it kindly. Oh, you see,
why would they?
You've asked a very important question, and indeed, singing the virtues of single-digit inflation didn't start with NPP. I must be honest about it. Yeah. We've done it in the past. Yeah. On paper, it looks good for people who don't live in this country. That Ghana's inflation is single digit, but we know the longest sustained single digit inflation in this country has ever happened under NDC. It's early days yet, but let's say that it happened under them. But let's ask ourselves, exactly what steps did NPP take to get the economy where we are today? Let me tell you few things they've done. They have decided not to invest in capital projects, things that actually take money out of government. So basically, apart from the item 1, which is salaries, and the cosmetic things like paying few teacher trainees and what do you call it, which, don't forget, apart from the teacher training, school feeding and all those things, we were still implementing them under the NDC government.
Free SHS cost an arm and a leg.
and free
that's capital intensive.
Well, when we say capital investment in a certain balance, paying school fees is not capital.
But that's a lot of money, is it not?
My brother, you are an economist.
Yes.
When we say capital investment,
yes,
we're talking about tangible things, building things.
Is that the only capital investment?
No, I'm saying that.
Is that the only investment that you made with your capital?
Oh, no, you are getting it wrong. I'm saying that in a certain balance, when we say capital investment, we're not talking about salaries.
We're talking infrastructure.
We're talking about things that people can see. If you pay salaries to a lot of people who run certain things, paying salary is not capital investment. Yes, it takes capital to pay salary, right, but it's not an investment in that sense. Yeah. Because when you pay salary, the person goes to consume the money. It doesn't come back to you. Maybe you pay some taxes, but in a certain balance, that's not what we mean. Okay. So government is reneging on a critical part which we needed to do before we can call ourselves capable of doing things we needed to do. Almost everybody agrees that for free SHS, 1 district, 1 factory, for everything to work, we need certain basic infrastructure running in this country. Under what condition are you going to run a 1 district, 1 factory when all the roads around the places are in the deplorable state? When there's no water to serve the factory, when there's no electricity. So NDC's preoccupation is that, yes, every district, in fact, every town can have 1 factory if need be, but the fundamentals first. So put in the necessary infrastructure. Now, NPP came and decided to renege on all that. And I give you a very sad example. The dual carriage from Asokode into Ho was under construction before NPP came. They decided not to pay the contractors, and as I speak, more than 90% of road projects in this country have been suspended deliberately because government decided not to pay them. Today, this government tells us they are saving the public purse. But go along that road, you see a contractor doing pothole patching on a road that has already been awarded for reconstruction.
Yet Standard Chartered says we're doing well and we may win ourselves.
You see, you've asked, isn't it amazing? And it's quite telling. When a government official, part of the 1,000, is so disconnected with reality, he'll probably go today and call somebody to ask, is it true that a fruit of tomatoes costs 1 cedi? Because he's so detached from reality, he's not even aware.
How will you say that?
He's not aware because
I'm giving you a reason.
You see,
because where I stay, you shouldn't say that. Because I don't eat.
Yes.
I eat.
Because
so when you sound as if for me, what I eat has nothing to.
I mean, from Flagstaff House.
Why?
If you knew, I know.
It's not my family eats.
It's 1 cedi because the people I live with.
Are you suggesting that when you were in government, you were not eating what we were eating?
Very good. That's what he's trying to say.
When we were in government, I was still with you.
But where am I?
Oh, you are in government.
Yes. So I'm not with people.
Office of the Vice President.
Is that where I sleep? Is that where I eat? Is that where I do everything? Please,
you have done
something
something that can help the government this morning. You have come here as a nice specimen, which tells Ghanaians what government is relative to them. So government is not aware that Agbobloshi, Ho, Mankesim,
and I'm telling you,
a fruit of tomatoes is 1 cedi.
Because are you telling me that? Are you telling me? Let me saying that the tomato, the price of tomatoes in Adakru is the same price in Kaneshie. Is that what you want to say?
My brother,
with all respect, is that what you want to say?
My brother,
so don't make it look like if I'm saying that a particular market, the cost of a fruit at a particular market could differ from how much it costs at where I stay.
Hold on. Let's move on. Yes. So I'm encouraging the government to review their outlook of the economy based on the 1 fruit, 1 cedi reality, because that is the reality. 2, so they are reneging on paying for projects that will actually solidify and give the bedrock to this country. And that I say that you can never talk about this country developing when we don't fix our roads properly.
Right.
When electricity doesn't get to all the places it needed to get to. When drinking water, clean water, doesn't get to homes. When the basic things like healthcare is not at a reasonable distance.
They say that the road contracts had problems, so they halted it there, auditing it, and then they will take it back again.
And he knows that the contracts are under review.
When you say that, he knows. My blood boils a bit.
Why?
Because you see, I have never seen an irresponsible behavior of a government.
Wow.
But if they suspect foul play, they will investigate.
So is it wrong to review a contract that was awarded?
You suspect, not that you have a fact, that there's a bad teacher in Accra, in Greater Accra region, who doesn't go to school, or who goes to school doesn't teach.
Okay.
Because of that, close down all the schools until we find that teacher. Is that a responsible behavior
we are not talking
of
about
a government?
One project. We are not talking about only one
project.
Do you know this? We are not talking about only one project.
This.
We are talking about a lot of projects.
15 months into the government of NPP. I dare them show one contract that under Cocoa Road or anything that have been inflated or that has wrongly been awarded. They talk about a single source procurement. It's all here in the Procurement Act.
Right.
If it is an illegality, take them to court. But you don't suspend Cocoa Road, which is the foundation of this contract, this country. You suspend Cocoa Road. So today, drivers, cocoa producers need to pay more money to transport their cocoa from the hinterland to the port at a higher cost. And you say that because for 15 months, you are not competent enough to review 200 contracts. Meanwhile, the Ministry of Road and Highways has reviewed over 2,000 contracts.
We are told we'll produce 1 million tons
we'll get it.
in 2019. We're wrapping up.
Listen, so because the government has decided not to pay contractors, their commitment looks on paper as good because they've told contractors, don't work, so you don't bring me any certificate. So their books look good. But guess what? At the same time, there's a government, and Ghanaians, I'm talking to you directly. There's a government who says that, yes, we understand all these things, but we want to build airports, like the president will commission shortly at Terminal 3. When we invest in this, we are creating jobs for you, and permanent jobs, not job seekers allowance under NAPCO. When we build roads, we make sure that your cost of transportation comes down. When we build schools, when we build hospitals, when we provide water.
Are you saying that NAPCO is bad?
No, I'm saying
that's the impression is creating. The people who led us to this state
I'm saying that the nurse, the trainee nurse, would prefer a government that would build hospitals. So when she finishes, she's got a job. Hold on, than to tell him to go and join NAPCO when she finishes.
Doc says NAPCO is a creation of the IMF.
I don't realize why
we're done. Our time is up.
Let me conclude.
So
if inflation,
I wanted to
if Razia Khan, wherever she comes from.
She comes from Standard Chartered.
No, Razia Khan, I'm saying that wherever she comes from. If this is
let
me tell you. Okay. The Ghanaians are saying that her assessment that, and in any case, it's 18 months. In 18 months, have you been in government for 18 months? Do you know that inflation was coming down, was always reducing before we took over?
When we took over, inflation was 14.5.
No, was it coming?
How is it now?
Listen, you are an economist. You are an economist.
You're asking me, and
the economic indicator.
And I'm telling you,
show me the economic indicator that was getting worse before you took power. I'm not talking about where they were. Every economic indicator was in the positive direction. Inflation and everything.
Anyway, but he says that NAPCO is an answer to the IMF. The problems created by the IMF.
If NPP considers NAPCO, which is more or less an extended version of national service or job seekers allowance, is their solution to unemployment, then I'm holding my head. It's a doom. I'm holding my head because they have run out of ideas. This a government who can't take us out of the box. How can you give job seekers allowance as a form of this thing?
I'm surprised
Doc, you have the final word.
Yes. The first thing I will say, let me start from this NAPCO thing. We are not saying
he said
that.
He's holding his head.
Yes, I'm surprised because
you are so
I think you.
too much surprised. As for them, everything is impossible. So I will not be too much surprised. But this is the point. You took us to IMF, and IMF is saying that apart from essential services, health and education, you cannot recruit into the public sector. We have a lot of people who have graduated, finished their national service. About every year, you have about 60,000 national service personnel, and they don't get a job to do.
Kwame says you are not doing capital investments. That's why
You know, he has given a road. He has given a road as an example. He's talking about a road from Sokode to Ho.
Yes.
And he has forgotten that the one from Esikuma to Chito was also part of the distance. But when MPP came to power, that road was completed.
Right.
So it is, yes, from Sokode, from Esikuma to Chito.
Completed.
Yes, from Esikuma to Chito. So the point I'm trying to make is that my brother Hughes.
My brother.
No, you think I don't know that road? I used that road only yesterday.
Okay.
Only yesterday.
And it's done.
Yes, and I'm telling you that from Esikuma, unless he doesn't use, because maybe he's from Adakru. So I'm sure he's using Sogakope to Adidome. So now I know your place very well. So please, and I'm telling you that from Esikuma, anybody listening to me from Volta region, we are saying that from Esikuma, from Esikuma Junction to Chito, that road has been done.
Okay.
So we are saying that the contracts that we are reviewing, those are the contracts that has been suspended. Not all contracts have been
suspended. So it's not the bushfire approach.
No, it's not all contracts. Okay. Only those that are suspected that they have been bloated.
I thank you very much. Kwame Agboja is the MP for Adaklu. I call him the Adaklu Messiah. He's joined us on behalf of the NDC from the holy village of Adaklu. It says, and Dr. Samuel Kwejo Frimpong works at the Office of the Vice President. He's a technical economic advisor. Doc, I thank you very much. Wish the Vice President well for us as they begin the fast sometime this week. And we'll come to Adaklu. Is the clay pots factory coming up?
No. I'm told the first one factory will be in Adaklu.
Okay.
They went and showed a cassava farm which doesn't even belong to the owner.
Sports is up next. We'll take a break at this point. Sports will be back. Yao Fusulabi. I hope you enjoyed the session.
Recharge your card, send the sticker for Vodafone cash. Send the text, make a call across the net.
Boa Basoa has joined me. Welcome back. Thank you very much. Sorry for that mix-up. Professor Paul Boa Basoa has joined me. Prof, good morning. Thank you very much for your time. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well.
Great. So tomorrow is International Day of Light.
Really, yes.
What is it?
Actually, Ghana, in its own wisdom, proposed that year at United Nations.
Right.
And it was accepted. And after celebrating it in Ghana, we were able to come out with 4 outcomes. That is trying to come out with a museum of light,
right,
trying to upgrade the laser and fiber optic center in University of Cape Coast to an institute,
right,
and try to come out with solar energy research, and lastly to try as much as possible to find a way of trying to use lasers in medicine.
Right.
And out of this outcome, then last year, Ghana went further, proposed to UNESCO to celebrate the International Day of Light, because there are International Day of Water, International Day of something of that sort. So we thought it right to make it an international affair.
Why would Ghana take it upon itself to push UNESCO to have that kind of celebration? Is it that we have a special place in the invention of lights?
Light, normally people misconstrue that light is only
the bulb.
The bulb.
Right.
But the light starts from the gamma rays up to the infrared, and also in radio waves, and other things. So light has a wide spectrum of its usage.
Right.
And light is life, light for networking, and light for artworks, light for communications.
Right.
So light has a diversity of its usage in our setup.
So tomorrow we're activating the Light Museum, or Museum of the Light. What is it about?
Yes, the Museum of Science and Technology has been there for many years, and we think this is the best opportune time to try as much as possible to initiate this goal of having a Museum of Light in that Museum of Science and Technology.
Okay, so
and over there, we are going to display old optical devices,
okay,
the concept of optical mirage,
okay,
light-based technologies with regards to photosynthesis,
okay,
chlorophyll monitoring,
right,
and environmental monitoring.
Who is setting it up? You're supervising it, setting up?
Yes, in collaboration with the coordinator of Laser of Fiber Optics Center,
okay,
Dr. Saki,
right,
of University of Cape Coast.
So when I come there tomorrow, around the Museum of Science and Technology, around the TUC building, what would I see?
Actually, the National Museum and Monuments have made a lot of collections. That is from pinhole camera, then various stages of camera development, and then the Laser and Fiber Optics Center is showing some of the new light-based technologies,
right,
and my works in the field of light and lasers,
right,
will be displayed.
It starts at 9 a.m. tomorrow, is that it?
It starts at 9 a.m.
right,
and spread over to 2 o'clock.
Right. Professor Boabasa, I thank you very much for your time. We're grateful, and we'll be there to support you. So that's Professor Boabasa. Tomorrow is International Day of Light, as UNESCO celebrates it. It was proposed from Ghana, and we should be proud of it. We'll be back with some more here on New Day. Stay with us.
We're still here on TV3 New Day, but you know this menace about tramadol is on the ascendancy, and it is a real problem in Ghana. We're going to be talking about it, delving into the issues and how to deal with it. I'll be speaking to Dr. Eugene Dodoi. He's a member of the Mental Health Authority, and he's also the head of Anchorful Psychiatric Hospital. Good morning, Dr. Dodoi. How are you?
Good morning. I'm fine.
So, Dr. Dodoi, there are these worrying videos of young men who are abusing this illicit drug, tramadol. I mean, what for you as a mental health authority is the real challenge? What is the problem, and how do we solve it moving forward?
The biggest problem we have is, one, to define the problem.
Right.
We don't know which people, where, I mean, the ages, what we call epidemiology.
Right.
So, as a country, what Mental Health Authority is leading us to say is that let's have a national observatory where we'll know exactly, just like we have for TB and HIV, that we know which people, which regions, which sectors, which districts are most affected.
Okay.
Then we can have a national approach. The next challenge we have is the law for Narcotic Control Board.
Right.
Narcotic Control Board is the only agency in the country that has a mandate to check both what you call supply reduction and demand reduction. That is the two sides of the equation, that if drugs are of abuse, if we help people not to demand for it, most likely the people who sell or traffic will not be in business. So, but we also want to arrest those who supply.
Right.
So we have the two sides of the equation. So what the law for Narcotic Control Board had been is that they kind of control illicit drugs which are abused.
Okay.
But the disease addiction, unfortunately, has moved on from illicit drugs like marijuana, cocaine, and heroin. Now they're abusing the licit ones, tramadol, codeine, and this old drug called APC. That is aspirin, paracetamol, and codeine. So codeine is there, and tramadol and codeine are the same. They both belong to the class of drug called opiate. They are painkillers.
Yeah.
But people are using their side effects, like delay of sexual orgasm, the insomnia it will cause, and the high it will give you. So they get to use it for those side effects. Unfortunately, for drugs of abuse, when the more you use, the less the effects you feel. Right. So you need more or higher doses to feel the same effect, unfortunately. Right. So that is what the young people are going to. And when they get addiction, it's been shown that people start using drugs of abuse, whether alcohol, marijuana, tramadol, by age 15. They'll start by age 15. 1 in 4 of them will get the disease addiction. This means that these people will not be able to hold any sustainable job. They become counterproductive. They come and steal from you and I, who are working, but they need money to buy drugs and store the drugs. So currently, there is a law before Parliament on Narcotic Control Board to change their status and to amend some of the laws. And what we are saying is that they should not be made to only control the illicit ones, because now the disease has moved on to the licit ones. Even loperamide, what most people call Imodium, in the US it's still being abused because it's also, similar in the same class for, it's also an opiate, but it only works in the GI, in the intestinal system. So people are finding other ways of abusing the illicit ones. So what we are saying that let's push these illicit ones into the remit of the Narcotic Control Board, so that they also control the people who traffic these ones. So we are not looking at those who are bringing it for therapeutic purposes, or those who are coming to use it to treat pain. That is not what we are looking at. We are looking at the people who are going to make money, because our young people are going to abuse these drugs. And that is what we are calling for. That let's look at that law. It's before the Parliament now. So let's look at and amend that section. The next thing we want to do is that we want to know the scope of the problem. So just as we do for HIV and TB, let's begin to screen people in schools, in our clinics, at the OPD. Let's find out. There's a simple way of assessing them. Who is using drugs? Who has tramadol? Who's using other opiates? If we get to know these things, then we can actually plan. And I would suggest there could be a commission like the HIV, the AIDS Commission, under the presidency, because addiction is a disease of young people. So if we don't take care, our young people will not become productive. They will end up just abusing drugs, and then they will not even have any skill or stay in school. So the challenge we have is that this is an emerging problem. We have known it all these years. In the US and Canada now, it is an epidemic. I would say the alarming rate we see is an epidemic. But
it is.
You can't say that until you have
statistics to back it.
So so if you don't have that data, we cannot even define that it is even an epidemic. And if it's an epidemic, we must adopt the same public health approach we do to any other disease. Hypertension, diabetes, the same approach we do. And this is a non-communicable disease, and we should be serious about it.
Certainly. But Dr. Dodori, people are also of the view that maybe then tramadol, as it's being used and abused now, should move from being a licit drug into the category of illicit. Do you agree with that?
No, we can't do that. Then otherwise we'll stop even doing surgery, because we need all the drugs for anesthesia can be abused as well. And we know of the pop star in America who was abusing an anesthetic drug. So we cannot push every drug that is being abused into illicit. That will not work. And in the 1930s, America saw alcohol as a problem. They banned alcohol. It only increased crime. Because people would then go and sell alcohol in the black markets. And they will kill people for it. They will bribe people for it. So if we go on that tangent, making everything illicit, illegal, it will only bring about more crime. And we have the UNODC, which is the United Nations Office on Drug and Crime. Drug abuse and crime are cousins. They go together. They go hand in hand. So if we go with this high-handed approach to stop trafficking, it's going to increase crime. We were in Ghana when a certain parliamentarian was arrested for drug trafficking. So it's not as if it's only the illicit ones which is a problem. Even though we don't grow cocaine and and heroin here, it comes and it's easily available. So that supply approach has not been shown to work, and we should be able to take a holistic approach and solve the problem and realize that addiction is a disease. It is no fault of theirs. Some people are born to to have addiction. Their brains are defective. And we don't encourage them, but if we make the drug available to them, they get exposed to it, their brain will not be able to control the drug. So this issue of saying no and all that has not been shown to work in the past. It's not going to work today. Let's see addiction as a disease. Let's treat it both from the supply side and the demand side, and hopefully we can get a better future for our youth.
Certainly, and on that good note of giving us hope that this tramadol abuse issue can be dealt with, all of us have a role to play from the demand and the supply chain of it. I have been speaking to Dr. Eugene Dodoi. He is a member of the Mental Health Authority, and he's also the head of the Ankerville Psychiatric Hospital. But you remember we asked you to send pictures of your mothers from Mami Mo, and we have winners. Charity Avognon, your number is 0546766124. We also have Enyonam Young, 024-971-9790. Dorcas Opon, 026-446-6522. Sorry. Then Samuel, 024-962-0840. Then finally Mama Sewa, 024-601-6703. So if you heard these numbers and they belong to you, make your way to TV3, the security gate. Just identify yourself and you will win the package for Mami Mo. We have more here on New Day. We're talking about the new thing, the newest brand new technology in town. So don't change that station. Be with us. We'll be right back. Gives you the ultimate security with an intelligent scan. You can turn yourself into a live emoji, and you know what that means. You can have butterflies all over your head and everything you want, and you can purchase this device at any authorized Samsung dealer shop. But that is just a tidbit for you. To get into the real matter, the cracks of the issue, I'm talking to Mr. Tete Akono. He's the head of retail and marketing at Samsung Ghana. Good morning, Tete.
Good morning, Nanama.
So your Samsung Galaxy S9 and S9 Plus seems to have wowed everybody. Seems to be the in thing. Everybody has heard about it, but has not really had the feel of it. So today you're going to take us into that. When you talk about the Samsung S9, S9 Plus, what are some of the brand new stuff? What are the specs that everyone is making noise about?
Okay, so first off, I'll start off with the accolades. Like you rightly mentioned, we were voted the best smartphone in the world at the just ended Mobile World Congress.
Right.
DisplayMate voted us the best smartphone display in the world today.
Nice.
In fact, they said it's so good, it's so brilliant, it's actually better than some 4K ultra definition TVs today.
Wow.
This is how brilliant the screen is. So just quickly, we have two versions.
Okay.
The S9, which is the smaller version, 5.8-inch screen. It has a single camera at the back.
Okay.
And then we have the S9 Plus, which is 6.2-inch screen with a dual camera at the back.
Okay.
And the only difference is the screen size, the memory. This is 6 gigabytes of RAM. This is 4 gigabytes of RAM. And of course, like I said, the dual camera at
for
the back.
the Plus.
Now, if you come to colors, we have some real vibrant colors as well. As you can see, the real sexy.
Yeah, it looks good on girls.
Lilac, purple. We have black. We have gray as well.
Okay.
So as we go on, we'll take you through. I'll take you through the different things the device can do. The camera is absolutely brilliant.
Right. About the camera, you talk about a dual aperture. What is that?
Yeah. The audience first has to understand what aperture means.
Right.
Aperture is the opening within the lens that controls the amount of light entering the image sensor.
Okay.
Now, if you relate to the human eye, you have your iris, which controls your pupil, which is the aperture.
Okay.
So during very high sunlight, you realize you squint.
Yeah.
So what that happens is the iris controls the pupil to make it small, to allow just small enough light for you to see during the day. Now at night when you need more light, the iris will contract again to open it up a bit more to allow more lighting to see during the day. So this is exactly what happens here. So dual aperture, there are two modes, f2.4 and f1.5. F2.4 is the smaller aperture, f1.5 is the bigger aperture. So during the day, it will automatically use the f2.4 because you don't need too much light. Then during at night, it will switch automatically to f1.5 to enable you see more. So all this happens automatically. You don't need
Nice.
to do any setting or anything whatsoever.
It's
It
automatic.
happens automatically. So it doesn't matter where you are in the world. It doesn't matter what time of day it is. It doesn't matter whether it's in the evening. You get the best crisp shots you can get on your camera.
Indeed, you will. And you just schooled me through science day. You reminded me of my science days. But you also talk about the live focus.
Yes.
What is that? What does it look like?
Okay, so the live focus uses the dual camera
Okay.
of the S9 Plus, and what it's able to do is you are able to gray out the background.
Oh.
So you want to be the focus of the picture.
So the photo bombers,
Exactly.
you get them cleared.
Exactly.
Nice.
You're able to control the blur in the background
Okay.
so that you are the focus of the picture. In fact, let's see it in action for you
Nice.
to believe. So we are just not talking about it. So Kwame will take you through how the live focus feature works.
Okay, Kwame.
Right. So, like how Tete just spoke about it. For instance, when Tete was on his way coming to set to come and have this interview, there was a photo that was taken, right? So this photo was taken at the Shiashi when you're heading towards the Shiashi traffic lights.
Right.
And you can see in this picture that there's a Hyundai Elantra in front of him, and ahead of him there's a traffic light that you can see the red light is on. Now because he took this shot in live focus, what's happening is that if I come in here and I look at the photo, I get the option to adjust the background blur, right? So background blur, when I click on the adjust background blur, this is what happens. I'm given an option to blur it out. So just pay attention and look at the photo, what would happen to it. As I am blurring it out, you can see that the traffic lights, the red means stop traffic light, which is ahead of us, now has been taken off. You know, so this is how the live focus works. So then again, in live focus, if I take a photo and I want to see how the live focus is working, right, I can get a wider angle of the photo because of the dual aperture of the camera. So now look at this. If I go wide angle, I will see all the other cars that were around the Elantra when he was taking the photo. And this is one of the things that the live focus does. But I think we'll get more into what the live focus really is and how to demo it more in subsequent.
Certainly, we will do that. But also tell us about the emoji, because I've had the opportunity to touch it and feel it and knows what it looks like. But tell us a bit about that.
Yeah, imagine when you're WhatsApping, what is the biggest thing? The emojis, right?
Yeah.
So now imagine you can use yourself as an emoji when you're WhatsApping. So that is what AR emoji allows you to do. It creates an animation of yourself in your likeness, and you can express yourself anyhow you want when you're chatting, whether you're messaging or so on. So once again, let Kwame show you how it works. It's a brilliant feature.
I mean, so back again to the AR emoji. This is one of the coolest things I've ever seen any phone do, right? So just like how Tete said, in WhatsApp when you are chatting, you want to send people how your emotions and stuff like that. But when I come into the camera, there's an AR emoji feature in there. So I just have to select the AR emoji. Now when I select it, there's an option to create an emoji. So let me create my emoji right here in the studio. So I click create emoji, and it gives me a pane to take a photo. So now, let me take a photo now, smiling. This is me right there. Now there are two options, whether to choose a male or female. Now I'm a male, so of course I choose that. And the AI will load with my facial features to give me how I look like when I'm an emoji. Now,
okay,
it's still loading, so we can see how it's working. Nice.
Oh, is that you in the hot pants?
I know. I know. So this is me. And the cool thing about this thing is that I can get to make my face look finer. You know how people like to fine tune their face with Snapchat and stuff like that. Now I don't need a third-party app to do it. I can do it directly here. So I can choose another one, and it will fine tune my face for me.
Wow.
And because my hair, I don't have all this Peter Pan hair hanging in front of my face. I can just go to the hair and change how my hair looks like. This actually looks like me, you know. So when I choose that, then I want to change the dress that I am wearing. Okay, so I can change the clothes. Usually now today I'm wearing a suit. I'm all suited up. So let's choose that. Now this is me right here. This looks exactly like me. So when I'm done and I click OK, or when I click OK, it will ask me to save my emoji stickers in the gallery.
Ooh.
So when I press OK, this is it. It will load and it will create all my emojis. So me laughing, me being angry, or me doing everything. So now all of those things have been created, right? My emoji, this is my emoji, is being created. Now when I go to gallery, right? Let me go to gallery and then show you. Right. This is my emoji right here. Now when I go to gallery, this is me. And this is me fuming. So for instance, if I'm chatting with somebody on WhatsApp and the person is making me angry and I want to fume at the person, I'll just send this emoji with me, myself, to the person. The person would see. This is me saying, it's okay, I love it. So it's just created a lot of emojis with my face for me right there that I can share with a lot of other people right there. If this is not cool, I don't know what else.
I certainly agree. Samsung deserves all the accolades they can get. But let's also talk about the super slow motion, because I hear that is an awesome feature. Tell me a little about that.
Yeah, so what is great about using a camera is when you're taking videos, you are able to slow time. So you're able to record slow motion at 960 frames per second.
Wow.
So that means it slows down for you to see the complete motion to appreciate what actually happened.
Tete, you know how people like to catch the glimpse of when the couple, the husband and wife, are kissing? Do you think that will work when they're doing that?
Brilliantly.
Nice.
Brilliantly. Let's have a look. I think Kwame recorded something in church which shows slow motion at its finest. Yeah.
Let me come here and choose that video. I super loved it. Let me go over here. Now, when I went to church on Sunday, a friend, his name is Jojo, and his daughter loves me so much. So we play a lot in church when we close. And the lady, I picked her up in church, and look at this. With the super slow-mo, I wanted to test it. So I was just throwing him up into the sky, and this is me right there.
Wow. So that is the slow motion
It's
version.
so cool. Like,
awesome.
Usually with this, you have to sit on the editing bench to do it. When you are, there's a certain level of motion which is being done, and this is it. Look at there. Look at this.
This is fantastic.
This is so cool. I love it. Like, this is so. I don't need to sit on an editing bench to do this. I don't know which other phone would give you the ability to do this. You know, Amma. So that's what he's saying. We are just entreating people. Get this, man. You don't need to waste a lot of.
It's time. Everything bunched up in one for you.
Exactly.
You really have to get this phone. But finally, I'm sure people are concerned about the security. And what are some of the entertaining things on the Samsung S9 and S9 Plus?
Okay, so it comes with dual stereo speakers. Okay. So this is the first smartphone with dual stereo speakers. There are one speaker at the bottom, one speaker on top. So when you listen, the sound is real vibrant. And it supports what we call Dolby Atmos, 3D surround sound. You feel sound coming from everywhere, which is like
just if you're phone?
Yes, if you're into Netflix has a lot of content which supports Dolby Atmos. Right. So you can play it here and you can hear the sound as if you're in a theater where sound is coming from everywhere. It's absolutely amazing.
You are running people out of business, I tell you. But also about the entertainment features. What are some of the entertaining things there?
Yeah, so there's what we call intelligence scan as well. So we combined facial recognition with the iris scanner. The iris scanner, is the most secure way of opening your phone because your iris cannot be duplicated anyway. Even twins don't have the same iris. So you are using that to open your phone, and it works perfect. Whether it's during the day, at night, it works flawlessly.
So just per chance, what if the person goes blind? Well, that's just a silly one. But where can we get the phone? How much is it going for? What are some of your special offers out there?
Yeah, so currently the S9 Plus is $3,999. Okay. So just short of 4,000. The smaller one, the S9, is $3,699. Around 3,700. Right. And we are currently running some promos currently. If you buy the S9 Plus, we'll give you a fitness band. It looks like this, and it allows you to keep track of your lifestyle. Okay. You can even take it swimming with you.
Nice.
It survives up to 50 meters underwater. It's water resistant.
Water resistant. Okay, great.
Yeah. So if you buy this one, we're giving that for free. In the shop, you buy that for around 950 Ghana cedis. Okay. But we're giving it for free when you buy the S9 Plus. So we're giving you value when you buy it. And very soon as well, we'll be introducing the 128 gigabytes version of these devices. So if you want more memory right from the jump, you can get those as well. There are 2 new colors will be debuting as well. There's the blue color, there's the gold color, which will be coming in shortly. So we have something for everyone.
Out there.
Yes.
But finally, I'm sure people are also concerned about the SIM. Is it a dual SIM? Is it one SIM? How does it work?
Yeah, so it's a dual SIM, but we call it hybrid.
Nice.
So you can use either 2 SIM cards or 1 SIM card and a memory card.
Okay.
So I mean, we give you that convenience to be able to get your memory or use 2 SIM cards if you want to.
Well, on that note, I'm sure you've heard so much that has wowed you, and I'm sure today Samsung will have so much work to do getting customers in their shops buying the Samsung S9 and S9 Plus.
One more thing just before you go. We know the screen is very valuable, and we know some people have kids. It might happen to fall and break. So we are giving, when you do happen to break your device, we're giving 25% discount when you come to fix your screen.
Wow.
So we have something for everyone. If you do happen to, the screens are brilliant, they are scratch resistant, but we know how
casualties will happen anyways.
So if it does happen and you go, 25% discount we give you on the brokens.
Nice. Johnny seems you got to ask a few questions, and I allow him to do that.
You're making my S8 feel very old. It's just under a year old. I mean,
it's time to upgrade.
Why do you guys do that?
Innovation keeps happening. The moment you stop innovating, someone takes over. So, but this phone, as you've seen, has the best features. It's the best smartphone in the world, bar none today. So it's time to do that upgrade.
Maybe I should give this out.
Mommy,
I'm just wondering.
Yes.
Will there ever be a time when we'll have a screen that will not break? Like, I'm curious.
That's a tough one, but honestly speaking,
like a bulletproof screen.
There's currently no screen in the world that is unbreakable as we speak.
But hopefully Samsung will be the first to do that.
In the future, it's possible. As of today, there's no screen which is unbreakable.
Thank you very much. Let's take a few of your comments. A few of them have come. Good morning. I'm feeling your show. Keep it up and God bless you. Sule from Sunyani Kutokrom says President Akdo and his competent MPP administration are doing far better than former President Mahama-led NDC administration. NPP has fantastic economic management, while NDC had poor economic team. Ghanaian don't have short memory, as claimed by former President Mahama. He will keep talking till 2020 when they will be defeated again. A second defeat will be worse. Mistake inside Nsoma Dwejuri says, greetings to you and your crew. The macroeconomic indicators cannot be the true state of the economy. If this government wants to know the true state of the economy, they should go to the ground and move from market to market, shops to shops, lorry parks to lorry parks, and they will get the true state of the economy. The hardship is too much for Ghanaians. God save us from this super incompetent government. Please, Johnny, tell the propagandist Baumia boy that 2 tomatoes cost 1 cedi, which used to be 5 tomatoes for 1 cedi in WAP. Good morning, New Day. The MPP man should come to Ashama Market and he will know 1 fruit of tomato costs 1 cedi. Hashtag 41agama. Good morning, Johnny. The MPP, Honorable MP Kwame Agboja is too good. Teach the MPP man more economics, and the MPP man should continue to take notes. And we'll wrap up the conversation. But happy birthday to Philippa Befi, songstress. It's your birthday today. And to Jennifer Mlokiwa Donu, it's your birthday. And Alba Beiding of the UCC Department of Communication Studies. Happy birthday. If it's your birthday today, have fun. Let's know where the party is so we can come and join.
And do grab yourself a Samsung Galaxy S9 S9 Plus. They are there for you, and the deals are good.
It's less than 4,000. You can do slow motion. Imagine like if we take a photo and like slow mo.
Anyway, guys, we'll see you tomorrow. Have a good day.
Thank you. Thank you.
Nobody can stop us. Woman they high grade. Now you just see for ya my control. Babu say you ya bana you use a hata on fansa yala bana fiade. Na Rastaman chichika krebi di fagina.